You're scrolling through your phone, or perhaps you're in a meeting at work, and there they are, that person. Maybe it's their over-the-top confidence that reads as pure arrogance. Maybe it's their victim mentality, their constant complaining that makes your skin crawl. Or maybe it's their seemingly perfect life, curated online, that fills you with a hot, unexplainable resentment. The feeling isn't just mild annoyance. It's a visceral, gut-level reaction. A charge of energy so strong it feels like an electric current. You want to look away, but you can't. You judge them, you dissect their flaws, you might even gossip about them later, feeling a strange sense of justification. This intense reaction, this emotional hook, feels so real, so directed at them. But what if it has almost nothing to do with them at all? It's not your fault that you feel this way. This is a deeply human experience, a defensive reflex of the psyche trying to protect itself. But protect itself from what? The answer is far more personal and unsettling than you might think. It's a defense against a part of yourself you refuse to see. In the next few minutes, I will show you 3 undeniable signs that what you hate, or even obsessively admire in others, is a direct reflection of your own hidden self. Stay with me, because by the end, you won't look at other people or yourself in the same way again. This isn't just an interesting psychological theory. It is a fundamental truth of the human psyche, and understanding it is the first step toward real freedom. This phenomenon, this intense and often irrational reaction to the traits of others, has a name. Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, called it shadow projection. Think with me for a moment. Jung proposed that your psyche is like a house. There's the living room, the persona, which is the neat, tidy, acceptable part you show to guests. It's your job title, your social mask, your polite smiles. But every house has a basement. This is your shadow. In this basement, you throw everything you've been taught is unacceptable, shameful, or weak. Your rage, your envy, your greed, your vulnerabilities, but also, surprisingly, your undeveloped strengths and hidden talents. It's not evil. It is simply everything about you that you have disowned. And do you know what the worst part is? We keep that basement door locked and pretend it doesn't exist. But the contents don't just disappear. They fester, and they find a way out through projection. Projection is like having a movie projector in your basement that you don't know exists. It takes the film reels of your own disowned traits, your arrogance, your insecurity, your laziness, and projects them onto the screen of other people. You think you're watching a movie about them, but you're actually watching a film about your own unconscious mind. In our modern world of social media and constant performance, this is worse than ever. We are encouraged to build flawless personas, to crop out our imperfections, and to present a highlight reel of our lives. This forces us to shove more and more into the shadow, making it larger, darker, and more desperate to be seen. It's why our reactions to others are becoming more polarized and more violent. We are all walking around in a world of our own projections. The first and most obvious sign of shadow projection is a more irrational, emotional reaction. This isn't simple disagreement. It's when your emotional response is wildly disproportionate to the actual trigger. Someone at work speaks with confidence, and you feel a wave of hot rage, labeling them an arrogant narcissist. A friend expresses vulnerability, and you feel disgust, calling them a weak attention seeker. Do you realize? The intensity of your emotion is the key. A healthy psyche might observe arrogance and think, "That's not my style," and move on. The psyche reacting from its shadow is hijacked. It feels a deep personal and moral offense. It's like a severe allergic reaction. For most people, a bit of peanut dust is nothing. But for someone with a severe allergy, that same dust can be lethal. The other person's trait is the peanut dust. Your intense emotional reaction is the allergy. Here is what nobody tells you. That allergic reaction is a signal. It's your unconscious mind screaming, "You have this in your basement. You have disowned this part of yourself." And seeing it out in the world is a threat to the good person image you've built. If you ignore this, you become a puppet to your triggers. You will navigate the world surrounded by idiots, narcissists, and losers, never understanding that you are living in a hall of mirrors, enraged by your own reflection. This constant state of reaction is exhausting, and it leads directly to the second sign. The second sign is the moral crusade. When you project your shadow, you don't just dislike a trait in someone, you feel a compulsive need to condemn it. You become a self-appointed judge, juror, and executioner of their character. You gossip about them relentlessly. You find ways to talk about their flaws with others to validate your judgment. You might even publicly call them out, feeling a rush of self-righteousness. Think with me. You feel morally superior. Your condemnation of them makes you feel clean, good, and on the right side of things. It's like being the neighborhood watch for other people's personalities. You're constantly patrolling, looking for infractions and reporting them to anyone who will listen. But the laws you're enforcing so strictly on others are the very same laws you secretly fear you have broken yourself or desperately want to break. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche had a word for this: resentment. It's the bitterness of the weak who create a slave morality, labeling everything they secretly desire but cannot attain, like power, confidence, or freedom, as evil. By loudly crusading against the arrogant person, your psyche is desperately trying to convince itself, I am not arrogant, I am humble, I am good. And do you know what the worst part is? This moral crusade prevents any possibility of self-reflection. The louder you shout about the splinter in your brother's eye, the more you ignore the log in your own. You become a bitter, judgmental person, trapped in a prison of your own making, never realizing that the key is buried in the very people you despise. This leads to the third sign, which is the most subtle and perhaps the most tragic. The third sign flips the coin. It's the projection of the golden shadow. It's not just negative traits we push into the darkness. We also repress our highest potential, our brilliance, our courage, our creativity, our capacity for leadership. We are taught not to shine too brightly, not to be too much. So we disown our own gold, and then we project it onto others. This is hero worship. It's when you find someone you admire with an obsessive intensity. You see them as a god, possessing a talent, a confidence, or a beauty that you believe is completely unattainable for you. You put them on a pedestal and live vicariously through their success. It's like staring directly at the sun. You're so blinded by their light that you fail to see it's a reflection of the sun hidden within you. Jung called this the golden shadow. When you are captivated by an artist's creativity, it is your own suppressed creativity calling to you. When you are in awe of someone's courage to speak their truth, it is your own silenced voice you are hearing. The consequence of ignoring this is devastating. You will live your life as a spectator, a fan, a consumer of other people's greatness. You outsource your own potential and wonder why your life feels empty and unfulfilled. You admire the person who started the business, wrote the book, or took the risk, never realizing that your admiration is a map pointing to the buried treasure within your own soul. So what can you do starting today to take back these projections and begin the process of becoming whole? The answer is not to fight the shadow, but to turn on the light. I call this practical technique the mirror technique. It is simple, but it is not easy. Here are the 3 steps. Step 1. Identify the trigger. The next time you feel that intense emotional reaction, whether it's white-hot rage or starstruck admiration, stop. Do not react. Do not judge. Simply observe the feeling. Take out a journal or a piece of paper and write down the specific person and the specific trait that is triggering you. Be brutally honest. For example, Mark's arrogance at the meeting, or Sarah's incredible artistic talent. Step 2. Phrase the reflection. Now take that statement and turn it back on yourself as a direct question. This is the crucial step. If the trigger was Mark's arrogance, you ask yourself, where in my life am I arrogant? Where have I been arrogant? And in what way am I terrified of being perceived as arrogant? If the trigger was Sarah's talent, you ask, where is my own artistic talent? What have I done to kill my own creativity? The point isn't to agree and say, yes, I am arrogant. The point is to explore your relationship with the concept. Perhaps you were shamed for being proud as a child, so you disowned your own confidence and now cannot stand to see it in others. Step 3. Journal without judgment. For 5 minutes, just write. Let whatever comes to mind flow onto the page. Memories, fears, excuses, desires. This is a conversation with your unconscious. You might discover that you resent confident people because you are terrified of taking up space yourself. You might find you worship creative people because you abandoned your own art for a safe career. Here is what nobody tells you. This work is deeply uncomfortable. You are going to meet the parts of yourself that you have spent your entire life hiding from. Your ego will fight back. It will tell you, no, he really is just an arrogant jerk. It will try to keep the projection in place. But if you can sit with the discomfort, if you can dare to look in the mirror, you will begin to reclaim the lost pieces of your soul. You started this journey feeling a powerful, negative emotion towards another person. You now see that this person was a messenger, a guide, a mirror reflecting a lost part of your own vast inner world. The things that irritate you are pointing to your unexamined shadow. The things you admire are pointing to your unclaimed gold. By doing this work, you stop being a victim of the world and become an explorer of your own psyche. Integrating your shadow is not about becoming a perfect person. It is about becoming a whole person. It is the difficult, lifelong work of accepting that you are the hero and the villain, the coward and the brave heart, the fool and the sage. True freedom is not found in a world without annoying people. It is found when you realize they have no power over you, because you have finally embraced all the parts of yourself. So I have a question for you. What is one trait in another person that consistently triggers a strong emotional reaction in you? Share it in the comments below. You will be astonished to find you are not alone. And if this journey into the depths resonated with you, subscribe and join us as we continue to explore the hidden territories of the mind.